Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing another Total War Warhammer 2 Battle Replay. And yeah, I'm back. I was ill this week, sorry guys. But yeah, we're doing more. Don't worry about it. This is another community cast though. This is sent in by Tundra Wolf, who's a long-time subscriber of mine. So hey Tundra Wolf, I can't say no to you. So yeah, this is his Norscan army to deal with the Vampire Coast. And we just showed a Vampire Coast versus Norsca game, which worked out pretty well. You know, really wide, heavy on the javelins. This is a little bit more elite, which I like. It's interesting. You can go in more than one way, because I think people are expecting hordes of javelins and stuff now. So people are going for sort of armies that deal with a lot more flak than, you know, they're used to, which is interesting. So now, Marauders. Yes, still Marauders in the front line, but there's some champions too. So, yep, and the Icehorn Marauders. So similar front line to the previous one we saw, but Shaman Sorcerer of Fire. There's a Wulfric the Wanderer, so slightly better Lord choice here. There are some Famir warriors, not with great weapons. He doesn't really need the anti-large, I don't think, because he's got a good enough back line with the two javelins and the Marauder Hunters as well. So, you know, the Famir warriors will still hold their own against big stuff. They still hit very hard. But, yeah, maybe some more anti-large actually would have been nice. I don't know. Yeah, he's going to get gunned down if you spend too much on the great weapons. Anyway, he's got a Mammoth, which is pretty cool. So the Mammoth will deal with things like Depth Guard very, very effectively. So that's pretty great to see. Also, the boat from Wulfric is pretty damn handy. Where is he? There he is. That's pretty damn handy. He does some spearmen in the back for some anti-large, though, which is pretty cool. So he's got a pretty cool army. I like this army, basically because there's a Mammoth in it, and all armies are amazing with Mammoths in them. So I like it a lot. Also, Ice Wolves. So he's gone with slightly more elite wolves rather than just a horde of them. So I like that. These guys will chew through zombies very, very fast. They have a lot more killing power than the regular hounds. So it's a little bit more elite than the previous army, which I like. It's interesting. It's interesting to see. So here you can see his opponent has Fellbats. So yep, some Fellbats over there. He's got two Depth Guard hidden on one flank, so he's trying to, you know, load one side a bit more heavily than the other. Animated Hulks, so these guys will get through things like Marauders, and with that armor piercing, they'll actually do very well against things like Marauder Champions. He's also got a pretty good gun line here of 3 handguns. These will be able to deal with the Famir pretty easily, because Famir are very big targets. You know, the low accuracy of these guys doesn't matter against a big blob of armored monsters like that, so it's pretty cool. Also some polearms and some deckhand mobs, so, you know, pretty cheap stuff in the front, but it holds out for a fair amount of time. Also, some mortars. So the mortars are actually pretty good at whittling down infantry. I do really like these guys. They're pretty good if you get them onto Marauder Champions and things. They can do some pretty good damage. Also, a Rotting Promethean. So, yeah, this is why I had to cast this. We have a giant mammoth, we have a giant crab. I mean, it's perfect, right? This is perfect replay fodder. So, Rotting Leviathan. I said Promethean, didn't I? It's a Rotting Leviathan. So, you know, pretty good armor piercing. They're very defensive, though, is kind of their thing. You know, 150 armor is huge. So they're very, very survivable. They cause terror, which is great against a load of marauders. And they're pretty sturdy. They can do some pretty good damage just because they survive for so long. So if their combat stats don't look like the best thing in the world, they make up for it by lasting forever. So it's pretty cool. Also, Luther Harkon, so really good for dealing with spellcasters, and he's also pretty good in a duel, frankly. He's pretty terrifying. I mean, he's got his gun, which has really good armor piercing, so he can get some good damage in initially, but his melee attack is huge too, so he can get some really good work done. And he's got some great buffs and debuffs. So, speeding things up. So you can see straight away, I think this is a bit of a mistake. The bats are running in immediately. I mean, it is slowing down the army a bit, because he wants to deal with the bats and then move in. So that's something, but I don't think they're going to last long enough for it to really matter that much. It just means a couple of extra shots for the mortar, and they're not even in range of the handguns, so unfortunately the handguns aren't able to open fire onto this stuff. Well, now they are, but they had to move. So, not the most cost-effective thing here to throw the bats in that early. So, bit of panic maybe? I don't know. But you can see, the mortar's getting some good damage into this stuff. Marauder Champions already having taken quite a bit of damage. So everything is starting to move up. See, the Depth Guard and the Animated Hulks are poised to go around the sides, which is very dangerous indeed. You don't want that. And here you can see the War Mammoth is ready on this flank. So this is tough, because the Depth Guard are probably the best thing for the War Mammoth to fight, but he needs something to anchor his front line well. So there is going to be a Rotting Promethean running through all this stuff, so it is nice to have a Mammoth to keep it busy. So it's tough knowing where to go. But anyway, a load of this stuff is being chased. Here you can see the Animated Hulks are trying to get around the sides as well, but just massive amount of force just punching straight through the middle. You can see these deckhands are going to get killed very fast, and it's going to leave 3 units of, well, That's, nope, 2 units of infantry, Wulfric and the Fimir in the middle, and they can go wherever they like. So, yeah, going wide and trying to flank around is great, but when you're only relying on deckhands to hold the line, it can be very tough. So here, Burning Skull, not the best hit, unfortunately. Not the best hit at all, in fact. But, good effort. Good effort. So here you can see the Mammoth is taking a substantial amount of damage from all the guns. So he is trying to disrupt that. And here you can see the Rotting Promethean is doing very well to deal with the Javelins. And going for them first, they're one of the biggest threats to the Rotting Promethean. I keep saying Promethean. Rotting Leviathan. There we go. It's one of the biggest threats to the Rotting Leviathan. So if the Leviathan itself can just get in there and kill all of them, he's going to be taking less damage from everything else. You know, he's not going to have this Overwatch fire on him. He can just sit here and fight all his infantry pretty much all day. Because that's what he's made for. He's just very tanky. You can just sit and fight sort of weaker units for a long, long time. So getting rid of the Javelins that can just get this perpetual damage on him, it's very, very tough. So here you can see the Mammoth and the Promethean. Leviathan, yep, got there eventually. They're in a bit of a fight. They're going to be scrapping in a minute. But at the moment, they're all a bit distracted by other units. Over here, though, the Fimir are holding back all of this stuff, and the Fimir are perfect for this. You know, the Depth Guard, sure, they can regenerate in melee and everything, but the Fimir warriors hit very hard, and the best way to kill Depth Guard is to kill the models, so they can't just heal through it. But it looks like they are managing to heal through a lot of it, which is pretty surprising. And here you can see the Javelins are trying to get rid of the Animated Hulks. The Animated Hulk's not the best things in the world, but that armor piercing will drag down the Fimir warriors very quickly, because the Depth Guard don't have a lot of armor piercing themselves, so it's going to be difficult for them to kill the Fimir. So if you can get rid of the Animated Hulks, the Fimir are going to last in this fight a lot longer. One of the Depth Guard is trying to push on through, and here we got a Mammoth fighting a giant crab, which is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. He's getting a bit distracted too, so that's perfect. The fact there's just no longer any big sort of zombie tar pit going on, everything is on the Leviathan right now, and it's getting pretty beaten up. So Wulfric has been chasing Harkon for a long, long time, and he is getting power siphoned and hornswoggled constantly. They're constantly debuffing each other. Another Burning Skull coming in here. Not the best hit in the world. Does kill some of these guys, but I mean, it's a ton of friendly fire. This was a terrible, terrible move, but it did look like it killed the crab. I don't think it did, but it looked awesome, and that's enough. You know? Fine. Yeah. It's a spectacle. I'm happy with a spectacle when I'm casting this stuff. It doesn't all have to be perfect. So here you can see the Marauders are back. So some Marauders are coming back in. But right now, the back line is just decimated. Wulfric managed to beat Luther Harkon in a duel, and the Depth Guard just gave up. Because there's just too much strength on the board. The balance of power is just too much in the favour of Norsca. Because they have so much stuff left alive. And that's enough. That's enough, you know. I mean, that Mammoth, as soon as that Mammoth got hold of them, they would have been just squashed. So it wouldn't have been great anyway, you know, Norsca would have definitely won that, but it is sad to see the Depth Guard just quitting so early. But it means we don't have to loiter around and just watch, you know, just something getting murdered for 8 years, because Depth Guard lasts forever. But it just shows sometimes, if you just effectively wipe out the rest of the enemy army, you don't even have to worry about the Depth Guard. As long as you can kill everything else nice and quickly, the Depth Guard are just going to crumble at the end. So you don't have to worry about getting over all that healing. Sometimes you can just keep them pinned with something and wipe out the rest of the army, you know? So just throw something armoured at them to keep them busy is my advice, because they're not going to pay for themselves if the rest of the army gets wiped out very fast. So yeah, as long as you've got a very good punchy army, yeah, that's going to happen. So I like that. It works out well. I'm not sure that was Tundra Wolf's plan or not, but it works. So yeah, if you guys are worried about Depth Guard, just kill everything else first. You'll be fine. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Just seeing a Mammoth and a giant crab fighting. It's a lark, isn't it? So guys, yeah, I will be trying to get the schedule back on track, but at the moment it's obviously not. I've not been well. But it's coming back, so I guess don't worry about it? Yeah. Yeah, that's a good takeaway from this. But yeah, Wulfric, I think, is a great pick in this. You can see he didn't get many. I mean, he actually got quite a lot of kills, but he wasn't in combat with much. Honestly, he was just chasing Luther Harkon around, but he still got a ton of kills because that boat is really good for just chewing up a load of that flak. All of these cheap, just zombie rubbish units. Yeah, just keep throwing boats at them, and it actually adds up pretty quickly. So I love that. Wulfric, I think, is very useful in this matchup. The Sorcerer, 86 kills. I don't know how many of his own units he killed, honestly, but he did good. He did good. I mean, it looked like he killed the crab at the end. He didn't, but it looked cool, so points for that. And as you can see, the Marauder Champions just chewed through this stuff. And the Icehorn Marauders, compare them to the other Marauders, and they did incredibly. That is super cost effective. They just have that extra bit of killing power that they can just kill those zombies that much quicker. So they're not going to get routed before they've killed a lot, which is pretty cool. So Icehorn Marauders, I think, are really useful in this matchup. I hadn't really thought to use them, but I mean, look at that. 111 kills is superb. So I really recommend trying those out. They're really good. Just don't throw them at anything elite. Don't throw them at depth guard. Just throw them into random zombies, and they'll kill them very, very fast for you. And that is brilliant, because you need to be able to kill those roadblocks very quickly. So you can sort of maximize the amount of stuff you have fighting anything deadly. So Icehorn Marauders, very, very useful. I recommend them. This is a wonderful testament to how good they are. So I mean, that's about it, guys. I'm gonna leave now. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.